Call on Government Orders of the Day numbers 2 to 4.
Harmful Digital Communications Bill, Committee Stage. Environmental Reporting Bill, Committee Stage continued. New Zealand Superannuation and Retirement Income Amendment Bill, Committee Stage.
I declare the House in committee for consideration of the Harmful Digital Communications Bill, further consideration of the Environmental Reporting Bill, and for consideration of the New Zealand Superannuation and Retirement Income Amendment Bill. Mr Chairman.
Mr Speaker. Members, the House and Committee for consideration of the Harmful Digital Communications Bill, for further consideration of the Environmental Reporting Bill and the New Zealand Superannuation and Retirement Income Amendment Bill. Members, we turn first to the Harmful Digital Communications Bill, and the question is that Part 1 stand part. This is debate on clauses 3 to 22A and the schedule. I call Jackie Dean.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. One of the things I'm quite certain that the whole House will agree on in this bill, although I'm sure there will be points of disagreement, is that we wish to protect particularly our young people from harm in what is becoming an increasingly complex and fast-moving digital world. And a number of aspects of this bill do directly address the impacts of cyberbullying on young people, and it is that one point, the principle behind this bill and the very reason for this bill, that I'm sure we will all find agreement on, and I doubt and I would expect there will not be a dissenting voice amongst all the parents, aunties, uncles and grandparents gathered in this Parliament and all around New Zealand who take an interest in these things, including our teachers and school principals and anybody who has stewardship for a time over children. Interesting, Mr Chair, that this bill comes as a result of work by the Law Commission back in 2012, who were asked by the then Minister of Justice to look into the quickly evolving world of cyberbullying and the terrible impact it was having on particularly young people. And if you reflect on the Law Commission's work starting back in 2012, and here we are in the middle of 2015, and I'm quite sure the device I'm using now is eons more capable of transmitting all sorts of things, be they messages, videos, pictures, than even 3 or 4 years ago. And many of these devices that we use mostly as a work tool are used also by many people in society, mostly for exchange of good communication, but not always. And also, with your indulgence, if I might just very briefly widen out the conversation a little to reflect on what is happening in terms of the cyber conversation around a political party not represented in this Parliament, it started with a press release or a press conference, and has exponentially exploded into cyberspace, and just proves to show us how very quickly things can move these days. And once something is committed to the internet via Twitter or Facebook or any form of communication, it's there. It doesn't go away, and that is what a number of young people have discovered to their cost. And if you look through Facebook and see some pictures perhaps of young people having fun at a party, and you think, oh, okay, not so good when you're going to apply for your first job after you've done your degree, and your employer or their agent goes through and just has a look at you and your online profile, and you might then start to think that, well, perhaps there are some things I did. It's fine, I did them, but they should not necessarily have ended up online. And that is the genesis of this bill. Mr Speaker, I wasn't part of the committee, of the consideration by the then Justice Committee of this bill, but I have read carefully the recommended changes that were proposed by the previous Justice Committee, and I will start going through them. We only have 5-minute calls in this part of the debate, but there are some clarifications and changes suggested by the Select Committee, and also further changes suggested by the Minister, which I'm sure will also be talked about. There are some pretty basic tidy-ups that the committee did, and I commend the previous committee for their diligence and the fact that they obviously listened to submitters who came to the committee and pointed out perhaps some degree of looseness in some of the provisions. So the first one I'm going to mention, which is inserting the same definition of an IPAP into the bill as exists in the Copyright Act of 1993. And so the IPAP are the Internet Protocol Address Provider or providers. And of course, this means that IPAPs will be explicitly included in the bill, whereas before, as the bill was introduced to the House, that wasn't necessarily explicit. There will be a sub-clause inserted into the bill to allow the District Court to be able to make an order against an IPAP to release the identity of an anonymous person's account to the court. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm calling Claire Curran.